How far should freedom of speech go? That's a question many nations grapple with. But Elon Musk just flipped the debate on its head, calling out the UK government and Keir Starmer in a series of scathing critiques. From tweets to podcast rants, Musk didn't hold back, slamming Britain's censorship, rising authoritarianism, and political failures. Why is Musk taking aim at the UK? And what does it mean for Keir Starmer's shaky leadership? Let's dive deep into the heated confrontation that's left the world talking. The start of the firestorm. It all began during a turbulent summer in the UK, marked by widespread protests and riots. Social media, particularly Elon Musk's platform X, formerly known as Twitter, became a lightning rod for misinformation. As viral posts spread, some UK politicians blamed X for stoking the unrest. Keir Starmer's Labour government quickly pointed fingers, suggesting that the platform was responsible for escalating chaos through unchecked disinformation. Determined to hold Musk accountable, the House of Commons Science and Technology Committee summoned him to testify. Their goal? To demand explanations about X's role in managing misinformation and enforcing content moderation. This wasn't just any inquiry, it was a direct challenge to Musk's staunch advocacy for free speech. But Musk wasn't about to play by their rules. Musk's defiant response. When the invitation landed, Musk didn't just reject it, he counterattacked. In a now viral tweet, he declared, "They will be summoned to the United States of America to explain their censorship and threats to American citizens." With those words, he flipped the script, questioning the UK government's commitment to democratic principles. He followed up with another jab, highlighting what he saw as hypocrisy in the UK's approach to free speech. Referring to cases where British citizens were jailed for controversial social media posts, Musk tweeted, "I don't think anyone should go to the UK when they're releasing convicted criminals to imprison people for social media posts." Ouch. The richest man in the world had just turned a formal inquiry into a global spectacle. Free speech or censorship? Musk's criticism wasn't baseless. Over the past decade, the UK has seen several high-profile cases where individuals face legal action for online comments. For instance, a care worker was sentenced to 9 months in jail for streaming a controversial video on TikTok. Musk pointed to this as evidence of a two-tier justice system that prioritizes silencing dissent over tackling real crime. He went even further, labeling the UK a police state. His argument struck a chord with many who felt that freedom of expression was under siege. For Musk, this wasn't just about the UK. It was a global warning about the dangers of overreach in regulating online speech. The political fallout. Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party and the UK's Prime Minister since July, found himself squarely in Musk's crosshairs. In another fiery tweet, Musk predicted that the UK's establishment political parties would be utterly crushed in the next general election. Why such a bold claim? Musk pointed to Starmer's plummeting approval ratings. Recent polls showed Starmer with a net approval rating of -38, a dismal figure that reflected growing public dissatisfaction. Musk wasn't just criticizing Starmer's leadership. He was calling out an entire system that he believed was failing its citizens. Full Stalin comments. One of the most shocking moments came when Musk likened Starmer's government to Joseph Stalin's regime. This comparison arose after Labour proposed an inheritance tax that targeted farmers. Musk didn't hold back, tweeting, "You've gone full Stalin." The statement sent shockwaves through British politics. When journalists pressed Starmer for a response, he struggled to find his footing. His off-the-cuff reply was awkward at best, highlighting how unprepared he was for Musk's sharp critiques. Starmer's fumbling response didn't help his image. Instead of addressing the concerns head-on, he deflected, leaving many to wonder whether he truly grasped the gravity of Musk's accusations. Elon Musk joins the fray. As if Elon's comments weren't enough, his father, Elon Musk, entered the conversation. In a scathing interview, Elon called for Starmer's resignation, claiming that Labour's policies were dragging the UK back 400 years to the Tudor times. Elon's remarks echoed Elon's sentiment, painting a bleak picture of Britain's political landscape. The Musks weren't just critiquing policy, they were questioning the very direction of the nation under Starmer's leadership. The Joe Rogan podcast bombshell. Musk's critique of Starmer reached a global audience when he appeared on Joe Rogan's podcast. With millions tuning in, Musk expanded on his views, lambasting the UK's approach to free speech and governance. He highlighted the case of over 4,000 individuals in the UK who had received prison sentences for social media posts. Musk questioned the logic behind these convictions, asking, did anyone actually commit violence because of these posts? The podcast segment went viral, amplifying Musk's criticism and sparking debates worldwide. For many, it was a wake-up call about the state of civil liberties in the UK. Nigel Farage and GB News. Musk didn't just criticize Starmer, he also expressed support for Starmer's political rival, Nigel Farage. After Farage's GB News channel outperformed mainstream outlets like the BBC and Sky in viewership, Musk tweeted his surprise and admiration. Farage seized the opportunity to praise Musk, emphasizing how GB News was breaking through traditional media barriers. Musk's endorsement added legitimacy to Farage's platform, further highlighting the growing divide between the UK's political establishment and its citizens. Rising public discontent. Under Starmer's leadership, public dissatisfaction has grown. Crime rates are rising, economic instability is rampant, and many Britons feel their voices are being ignored. Musk's critiques tapped into these frustrations, resonating with a population tired of empty promises. The chaotic Southport protests served as a stark example. What began as a peaceful demonstration spiraled into violence, highlighting the government's inability to address underlying issues. Starmer's response? He dismissed the protesters as thugs, a comment that only deepened the divide between his administration and the public. The tragic case of Peter Lynch. The human cost of Starmer's policies became painfully clear with the tragic story of Peter Lynch, a 61-year-old man who took his own life after being imprisoned for participating in a protest. His death underscored the growing tensions in a country where dissent was increasingly met with harsh penalties. For Musk, cases like Lynch's were proof of a broken system, one that prioritized silencing opposition over addressing real problems. Economic critiques. Musk's criticisms weren't limited to free speech. He also took aim at the UK's economic policies, particularly its high tax rates. From inheritance taxes to VAT, Musk argued that Britons were being overtaxed without seeing meaningful benefits. What does it get spent on? Musk asked. A bunch of stuff you don't even agree with. His comments struck a nerve, especially as many Britons grapple with rising costs and stagnant wages. International implications. Musk's critiques of the UK aren't just domestic issues, they have global implications. As a major economic and political player, Britain's policies affect international relations and investment. Musk warned that Starmer's approach could tarnish the UK's reputation on the world stage. His comments served as a stark reminder that leadership decisions have far-reaching consequences. The clock is ticking. As Keir Starmer faces mounting criticism from Musk and others, the future of his leadership hangs in the balance. With public discontent growing and international scrutiny intensifying, Starmer must make drastic changes to regain trust. But will it be enough? If Musk's predictions are correct, the next general election could mark the end of the Labour Party's dominance. Elon Musk's takedown of Keir Starmer has exposed cracks in the UK's political and social systems, sparking debates that extend far beyond Britain's borders. From free speech to economic policy, Musk's critiques have resonated with a global audience, challenging the status quo and calling for change. What do you think of Musk's bold statements? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into today's most pressing issues.